Okay, we're back again. So, so sorry about that. Somehow uh, the video had a setting to where the live chat got disabled. We fixed that. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody. Oh, that's not what I needed. I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Um, hope all of y'all are had a good day at school. All your students had a good day at school. Okay, I'm just trying to share the link on Facebook right now. Also, um, okay, there we go. All right, so now it's on Facebook. Um, all right, welcome. All right, so glad. Real quick, go ahead and just drop your name in the chat so that way I know who I have here and who all is joining me tonight. Again, I'm so sorry. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Didn't realize what had happened, what had been going on. So, uh, thank y'all for being here tonight. The purpose of this is to give you guys information for our ski trip. It is so that way you guys can know what is expected, what you guys can know, like what your student can expect, and kind of to answer any questions that you might have um, along the way. Um, so uh, I want to just address a couple of things that I know are right off the bat that they're like right at the front of your mind. Um, First off, I know you guys are probably wondering like when will it be? It will be uh, March 13th. We will leave on March 13th, and we will come back to Bastrop on March 19th. Welcome, Debbie and Rodney Davis. So glad you guys are here. So so the trip itself will be March 13th through the 19th. Really, will be those dates that will be there, or that will be out. We will probably stay, or we will be staying in Amarillo. Not sure if it will be a hotel or a church yet. Still working on final details for that. Um, but we will be staying in Amarillo on the night of the 13th, and we should arrive in Winter Park on the 14th. So, with all of that said, let's get into it. Just want to let you guys know some general information about this, and then we'll get into specific questions. So, general information about this whole like retreat kind of was born out of a joke that Brad and I were like, well, we'll take the youth group skiing since they're not going to be doing anything this summer, and as I kind of thought about it and prayed about it and everything, it really started to take shape and started to take form in all of that and in this whole idea of like we should do a ski retreat, and it ended up being the youth didn't do anything over the summer, and so this idea came forth, and so we were like, okay, like, well, we'll go ahead and plan this out and figure out the financials of it all, and we'll get it going. um, and so we started thinking and planning through this and everything, and so what you are getting right now is you are getting um, all of the like what's gone on, like you're getting everything now, like from then to now, like we've planned this and gotten it all set to go. um, we decided on Winter Park because I personally had gone there when I was in youth, and we had a great time. It was beautiful, and it was really a good time. And so what we're doing with this is not going to be just a fun trip. Like it's not going to be just 5 days us going out and for 3 days just skiing and just having fun. We're going to be having quiet times with it. We're going to be having Bible studies with it. We're going to be having times where we will grow spiritually, but we will also be doing fun stuff like skiing or snowball fights, stuff like that. Um, and so I want you guys to be encouraged that while this will be a fun trip, and will be an excellent trip and for your students. This is not something that is going to be just fun. It's not something that is going to be um, just, well, um, Clayton and Brad want to go skiing, so we're going to just write it off as a youth trip. That's not the whole point where as to why we're going to this. We're going to this because um, we want to give the students a different experience, and we want to give them an opportunity to have a different experience with God as well, if that's possible. And so we're taking them on this ski retreat. Like I said, we're calling it really a ski retreat because it is going to be more than just a ski trip. It is more than just skiing. We're going to be focused on the Bible. We're going to be focused on um, how we can grow in our relationship with God. And so we're going to be working on things like that. I'm going to be writing up quiet times for the students to go through each morning. And so, they're going to have these times that it's going to be spiritually enriching, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. So, uh, with all of that said, I want to go through a list of questions I was able to think of. I want you guys to be, while we're doing this, I want you guys to be thinking of questions that you might have. And as you think of them, send them to me in the comments. I'll see all the comments here on the screen. So as soon as you comment your question, I'll see it, and I will make sure to get to it and cover it and answer it whenever I can. So as we're going through this, I want you as parents and even students, if you're here, I want you guys to be thinking of questions that you might have, and feel free to ask those in the comments, okay? So probably the first question that you're going to have is, how will the students be getting to the ski slopes? So how will they be getting to where they will be going skiing? What this the resort that we're going to, the ski resort that we're going to, they offer a shuttle, but if we're going to do that, we need to let them know as soon as possible. As of right now, we are planning on taking our own transportation. It's about a 20 to 25 minute drive to the slopes every day. And so we have a parking map as to that's showing us which parking lots are paid, which parking lots are free. But what we are planning on right now is we are planning on using our own transportation, so that way we're not having to be we're not being constrained to the schedule that the resort shuttles run on, because it could be a little bit inconvenient for our group if we have people that may be going a little bit slow, or they may be taking a little bit longer to get ready and everything. It's easier if we use our own transportation to get to the slopes. So how your students will be getting to the slopes. That's how we'll be getting them there. We'll be driving the transportation ourselves. And like I've said, where we're going to be staying at with the resort, it's about a 20 to 25 minute drive to the slopes each day. So now the students, what they do if they want to go skiing, the price that is set includes 3 full days of skiing. Now a day of skiing, the lifts run from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so that's what a day of skiing is. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's about 6 or 7 hours. And so that's what their ticket will cost. That's what their ticket will cover. And we'll get into talking about pricing and what the lift tickets are, and how all of that works. Also, like I said, I already kind of covered this, but besides skiing, we will be focusing on enriching your child's and your students' lives. You're enriching their walk with Christ, enriching that relationship with God. And so it is going to be a fun trip. It's just not going to be solely fun. Like, it's not going to be just for fun. We are going to have a point and the Bible behind it. So so you do not have to worry about that. We want to make sure that a trip like this is not just something to give them something fun to do, but it is something that can be fun and help them grow in their relationship. Um, Now, uh, for the lifts, what we will be planning on for those students who go skiing and for those students who go up to the slopes and everything, um, they will have two options for lunch. So like I said, the lift runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So your students will have really two options for lunch. They will be able to take a sack lunch. We will be buying stuff for sandwiches uh, that um, that they can make in the morning and they can take it with them. Um, but they will have to have a plan on how they will carry it, or they will have to get a locker at one of the buildings. Um, there is also there are also three restaurants on the mountaintop, and there's many at the base of the mountain where they will be skiing, where students could buy lunch if they wanted to. Now, if they want to go that route, they will have to bring extra money for that. That is not wrapped up in the cost of that. What's wrapped up in the cost of that is us providing the sandwiches and chips and drinks for them to take. But if they want to get something from one of the restaurants at either the mountaintop or at the base of the mountain, they will have to bring extra money, as well as bring extra money for any souvenirs that they might want, or anything like that. um, and so there are three restaurants where the students can buy food on the mountaintop, and there's many more even at the base of the mountain. And we will also be providing things for sack lunches for students who don't want to spend that extra money or don't want to bring that extra money. We will be providing sandwiches and chips for that. So, um, what will your student need to bring? What kind of clothing or equipment will your student need? Um, your student will need really good winter clothes for here. Um, in March in Colorado, they don't get very, very cold. I know we tend to think of like, oh, well, it's skiing, there's going to be snow on the ground and stuff like that. It's got to be really cold, right? Um, but in March in Colorado, they don't get much colder than we would in the dead of like our winter. So really good winter clothes for here would be good for your students. Um, and as far as like other clothing, you will need to find what are called ski bibs or ski pants. Um, those will be needed for them when they're going on the slopes. They're a thicker material, kind of like overalls, but they're also like windbreaker type material. But that kind of helps keep them warm when they're going down the mountain on the skis. Um, Other than that, really, other than I would suggest waterproof shoes, some type of like maybe like hiking boots that are waterproof, uh, the ski bibs, and really good winter clothes. Um, Other than that, your student won't have to worry about any other equipment. The resort will provide the skis, the boots, the or snowboard if they're going snowboarding. It will provide the poles and a helmet uh, if you want. All that stuff can be found on the website link that is posted on Facebook, and I will post it again tonight after this is done, so you guys can go and take a look. On through that link, you sign up your student. It is through that link that we find out which students are going, whether they're going to be skiing or not. All of that. That is how we find that out. So if you're wanting to be like, okay, well, Clayton, how do I let you know that my student is going to be going? Well, I'm going to post the link onto Facebook again tonight. It's on there already, but I will post it again tonight as soon as I'm done here. And you can go to that link. You fill out the information in that first page. I will get an email telling me, hey, so and so wants to sign up to go skiing. I go through, I add them onto the list, and when that happens, you can see how much it costs. You can see who else is going. You can see the list of all that's needed, and you can also download a permission slip for our church that will give your child permission to go on this trip with us. So, as far as what your student will need to bring, uh, essentially they will need to bring clothes for a week. They will need to bring waterproof shoes, uh, basic toiletries, shampoo, body washer, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste. Essentially, you want to pack your child for camp, but you want to give them also warmer clothes. That's essentially what you're doing. You're packing your student for summer camp, but you're doing the opposite. You're wanting to keep them warm and not cool. Okay. Um, and again, like I said, waterproof shoes. Waterproof shoes are really good. Waterproof boots. Those are really good because of the snow. When you're walking in the snow and then you get inside and it all starts to melt. I don't know if your students are like me, but I cannot stand wet socks. Maybe you're like me too. Maybe you can't stand wet socks. Um, and so this will say waterproof shoes will save them the trouble of having to change socks every time that they get back inside. Um, and if your student already has a good pair of boots, a good pair of hiking boots, you can buy stuff that will waterproof it. You can buy like some sealant that will waterproof them for them. So, um, or you can use Amazon. That's a big thing right now. So, um, uh, so how do I, as the youth pastor, plan to make this more affordable? Because I know when you get on the website and you see, man, $515, that's expensive. Let me tell you first why it is that expensive. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about price. Okay, so why is it $515? It is $515 because of there being what the $515 is covering is it is covering all the food for the week, and that's with the exception of meals on the way up there and meals on the way back. The $515 is helping cover breakfast, lunch, and dinner from the 14th through the 18th. Um, it is helping cover 4 nights of lodging in Winter Park in a 40 person cabin. I think it's like 8 bedrooms with a kitchenette, um, or not a kitchenette, with a kitchen um, and a big fireplace, outdoor seating area. Really nice. I'll post a link to where we're staying also, along with photos, so that way y'all can see. It's really really nice. It also covers 3 days of skiing, and it will cover the lessons for the ski lessons. Um, that's why it seems so expensive. That's why you're gonna look at it and you're going to see $515 and you're gonna think, oh my goodness, I can't make that work. But I'm going to tell you right now, one of my like thoughts with youth ministry is that we never want price to be a reason why a student misses out on something God might have for them. And so with this, it's the same thing. We don't want price to be a reason why your student misses out on something that God might have for them. Well, Clayton, why is it so expensive? If you don't want price to be that reason, well, here's the thing. We have to take into account costs that we need to be taking. Here's what I am going to do to make this more affordable. You don't have to pay the $515 all right out. You don't have to. We're going to divide it into 2 deposits. The first deposit due November 4th. I'm giving you guys like 3 months, like 2 months advance notice. But the first deposit will be due November 4th. The first deposit will be $257. Now, what can your student do to help alleviate that cost? Because that's still quite the pretty penny to drop. Well, I have a sheet right here. I'm not going to turn it around for privacy's sake, but right here, I have a sheet that, and if you're, I have a sheet here that tells me what all the students have in their accounts. What all the students have in their accounts from when they've done previous fundraisers and stuff like that. Um, so if you would like to know that information, you can reach out to me and I will get it to you. Now, as far as like uh, if your student is a good skier, doesn't uh, doesn't need lessons, um, yes, you can deduct the price of the lessons. Um, if your student doesn't need lessons, you will have that option to select uh, that he or she doesn't need lessons, and we can deduct that from your total cost. Um, and so, if you'd like to know what that would be, let me know, and I will tell you. Um, but we also are going to have some fundraisers planned. We've got one planned in September. We're going to do a car wash in September. It is going to be, let me get my calendar here real quick. September 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. we will be doing a car wash here at the church. Okay, so right out here in the parking lot, we'll be doing a car wash here at the church. If your student comes and works in that and helps in that, that goes into their funds and that can go towards the ski trip and can help alleviate the price, help um, make it cheaper for them. Okay. Um, and so, um, again, great question, Debbie. Yes, if your student does not need lessons, you don't need to mark that they need lessons, and we will deduct that price. Um, what I did, the reason why the price is at the 515, that's what you see when you get onto the website, is and why that includes lessons is because I took it in a way that um, that I took it in a way uh, that most of the students haven't been skiing before and so would need lessons, and so that's why that was there. Yes, Christina, I know that it marked it as an added as a separate cost. What we are doing is the what's going to be uh, what's going to be going on is that we have uh, we have taken into account stuff like gas and needing to rent vans and stuff like that, and that's going to come straight out of the youth budget itself, as opposed to um, being being in a cost, and so instead of like charging along with like the along with the uh, like the lodging and all of that, what we're going to be doing is that price that's set is it's going to be covering the lessons, because the lessons are like added as like an extra cost. um, what you're going to be paying for your students will be helping to cover that, if that makes sense. So what you're going to be paying for your students is essentially being set at a point where um, it's going to cover the cost of lessons. So I know that it on the website when you go through and you add lessons, it's going to add it as a separate cost. It's but do not worry about that because it is wrapped up into the cost that that we have put on the website and that I have been telling y'all. Okay, now now a question that you would have is also, um, what if my child doesn't want to go skiing? Is it going to be cheaper if they don't go skiing? Yes, it will. Again, we were taking the approach of what would the majority want to do. The majority would want to go skiing because they haven't been skiing, and so following the same logic that we used for the lessons, because most of them haven't been skiing, we assumed most of them would need lessons, so we wrapped it into the cost. Um, we assume most of the students would want to go skiing, so we put that as the cost. So the cost that you see of $515 is the cost if your student wants to go skiing. If your student doesn't want to go skiing, there is a different price point. Again, that is something that you can reach out to me and I will let you know what that price point is, or what that price is. So if your student doesn't want to go skiing, then you can just let me know. Now, Say that we have students. Now, here's what I would suggest though. If your student is interested in trying to go skiing, then sign them up to go skiing. Um, don't sign them up as though, well, they're not sure if they're going to go skiing, so I'm going to sign them up as not skiing. I would suggest to sign them up as skiing and pay the price for them skiing, because what can happen is, if we get when we get there and they go the first day and they go skiing and they're like, oh, that was so much fun, like I'm gonna go ahead and keep going all 3 days, um, then they're already covered. But if they're going and they decide and they go skiing and they're like, meh, not really my thing, after that first day, they can like, in a sense, give their lift ticket away to someone else. But so the reason I suggest that you sign your student up for skiing, even if they're like, I'm not sure if I would really like it, they can try it for a day. If they don't like it, then someone who maybe didn't signed up to not go skiing, or didn't want to go skiing, could and your student didn't like skiing, they could take their place on the lift, and it really wouldn't change anything. Um, it really wouldn't change anything. It would just, it's easier if your student is signed up for skiing, because if they sign up to like not ski, then they have to be pretty committed to not be skiing. Does that? I hope that makes sense to everybody. Um, and um, so that's another thing to take into consideration and to be taught and to be thinking about. um, let's see. Okay, did y'all think of any other questions? Because I think I've gotten through all my questions that I had written down, um, as far as that. So did any of you guys watching think of any questions um, yet? Oh wait, I do have some more written down. Okay. So, if your student signs up and isn't skiing, they're not a skier. What are some things that they will be able to do? Yes, there is snow tubing. Yes. If you're not familiar with what snow tubing is, um, I mean, put two and two together. Imagine floating down the river, tubing down the Colorado, but you're doing it on snow, and you're doing it in a tube that has a covered bottom. That's what snow tubing is. You're going down a hill. Um, the Where we're going to be staying at is a YMCA facility. Uh, and as a YMCA facility, some of the free activities that they have include basketball, guided snowshoe hikes. They have ice skating. There is an indoor pool, indoor volleyball. There's snow tubing and sledding. There's all of that. Um, so that stuff is available for students who don't want to go skiing, as well as like, you know, hanging out at the at the cabin. Kelsey and I, we have a ton of board games. We'll take board games. They can play board games, card games, like all that stuff. Um, and so there is that stuff available for students who don't go skiing. And if they don't go skiing, they get to hang out more with me more, because I'm not going to go skiing because I am terrified of heights. Um, okay. So, all right. So, Patty, you're asking if we're driving straight through or we're stopping halfway. The plan is that we're going to stop in Amarillo, which is about halfway between here and Winter Park. Uh, and we'll be doing that on the night of the 13th, and be doing that on the night of the 18th. So that's the plan. So we won't be driving straight through, because it's almost like a 16-hour drive, I think, and that's a lot. So we'll be stopping about halfway in Amarillo. um, so the lessons are, and I'll have to do some math real quick to get to your first question, Debbie. I'll have to do some math So just give me some grace on that. But the the price does cover ski rentals. It does cover skis. It does cover ski boots. It does cover poles. It covers all of that. Without the lessons, the price comes to $362. um, we will be renting at least one van, probably two, in order to take, um, in order to be able to take all of our, uh, like any pots and pans we would need to take, or crock pots and stuff like that, take all of our luggage. And we're planning for 40 total people. That's another thing. We're planning for there to be 10 sponsors on this trip. Ideally, that would be the number that we would have, would be 10 sponsors. Um, and so that leaves 30 spots for students. So we would be needing to rent one or two vans. So, um, good question. Good questions, all of y'all, really. So let's see. Was there anything else I needed to cover? Oh, the rules for where we are staying. This is important. We need to understand. The facility that we're going to be staying at is a Christian facility. It is called the Y Snow Mountain Ranch. Again, I'll post a link to where we will be staying, along with pictures and everything. I'll be posting all of that as soon as we're done here tonight. Um, so, uh, so some of the the rules, essentially common sense: no alcohol, smoking, um, and stuff like that. Um, and your student will have to have a release form signed by a parent, before we leave, in case they want to do an activity that requires that. Um, so make sure that you, as parents, make sure that you get all the release forms and have them all signed and get them back to me. um, so let's see. When we arrive at Winter Park, they will give us um, they will start getting us fitted for the equipment. They'll start fitting all the kids for the equipment. They like to do that the night before we start skiing, because it can be a little time consuming, and so it's easier to do it the night before rather than the morning of. That's what they suggest for us, um, and or for us to do. Let's see. I think that really is now everything that I have. About a month away from the trip, I will be getting more details. Um, and so as soon as I get those, Um, I will send those out to all of y'all to be all set. Um, we have some sponsors already enlisted. What we really need is more male sponsors. We have a, I would say we have enough female sponsors, but we do need more male sponsors. And so, um, if Wayne, Jay, if you guys are watching this, I need you. All right. Um, but we do have some already enlisted. Myself, Michelle, Brad, my wife Kelsey. Let me see who else. Christina, I know I talked to you about being a sponsor as well. Um, I have a list somewhere around here. Um, oh, Elizabeth Sizemore said that she wants to be a sponsor, and so did Leah. Um, so we have some enlisted. So we still have, off the top of my head, we still have 3 spots open for sponsors. Um, so if you'd like to be a sponsor, uh, you can let me know. My email is Clayton period Garcia period YMN at gmail.com, or you can call or text me at my cell phone number at 210-978-6079. Um, Also, this is also going to be a trip that is going to be open to the seniors that just graduated in 2020. If they're available to go, they're welcome to go. Okay, awesome, great, Debbie. Um, Awesome. Sounds good. Um, if you would like to go as a sponsor, you'll just go through the same link that'll be on Facebook, same link that your students would sign up, and you will just fill out all the information just like you would for your student, or just like your student would, and it would, you just fill out all that information and it'll put you in there, and I'll know who are adults and who aren't. So all right. So are there any other questions? All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions at this time, then we will go ahead and close this out. I'll be posting the links here uh, in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Um, and so be looking out for that. That'll be on Facebook. I can also send you uh, emails with the links if that's easier for you too. Um, you're Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Again, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have any questions whatsoever. Um, the price for the adults, for the sponsors, the church covers that. So sponsors are covered by the church, so you don't have to worry about price for the sponsors. The church covers that fully, and that was even that was a policy that was set by the church, and it's even my own personal policy, anyways. Because if you're going to be taking off time from work, we're not going to ask you to fork over more money. We're gonna provide for you guys to go to this. Um, so Patty, great question with the price for adults, but you don't have to worry about it going as a sponsor. um, so uh, so that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Again, like I said, I'll be posting those links in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Thank y'all so much for joining me here. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to call me, email me, text me. Um, I'm pretty much available anytime. You can reach out to me and I'll answer. Um, and I think that's all I've got. So again, just thank y'all for being here tonight, and I hope you guys all have a really great night. And I will see y'all hopefully Sunday. Have a good one.